Welcome everyone to Already Cancelled. I am Peter, that is Tara, and we are going to talk about the Twilight Zone Season 3, Episode 13. It's called Once Upon a Time. So, full spoilers for the episode as always. And one of the questions we had when we heard about what this episode was going to be last week, when we talked about the time helmet, someone coming to present day, obviously then present day, 1962, was that, oh, we'd kind of done this premise before, how's it going to be different? I mean, Buster Keaton was in it, but I don't think we quite clocked that the gimmick of the episode was going to be that in 1890 it was going to be a silent movie in his sort of traditional role, and then he'd come to 1962, and there'd be sound, and it'd be normal frame rates, and all of a sudden everything would be fine, and that's the gimmick of the episode. The entire episode is built around that gimmick, for better and for worse. So, what did you think of Once Upon a Time?
I thought it was a blast. I thought it was really fun. I was into the gimmicks. They don't usually do gimmicks in the show, so I was like, whoa, this is different. And I mean, if you have Buster Keaton, that's the one to do it for, and that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I think I appreciate the gimmick. I appreciate what it's doing, and kind of the point it makes. But I kind of wish it had more of a story to actually...
No, it's very, like, traditional silent film.
Yeah, I mean, there's some, you know, fun to be had where, like, I think maybe the opening with him just walking around in, you know, 1890, and it's like the classic old silent movie, I think that maybe goes on a little bit too long. But I did like the kind of the joke that once he gets to 1962, he still kind of gets into the same slapstick antics, falling on people, grabbing things, blah blah blah. But the people that it's happening to are reacting differently because it's you know, present day 1962, and they're like, what the hell, buddy, what are you doing? Why are you walking around with no pants? What's going on? Like, you know, asking these questions, being a little bit different. I could almost done with more jokes along those lines, but as it is, it's you know, it's fun. It's fun for what it is, but I don't think it's I feel like, given the concept and given that they got Buster Keaton, it feels like it's supposed to, I think, be a special episode, and I think it ends up being just kind of
like it is.
Yeah, it ends up just being kind of a fun episode, does. Because I wouldn't say it actually feels that special by the end.
Really? Oh. I mean, it's definitely a concept that we've had before, someone going to the future. This is more like he's a kind of a grump in his own time, and he wants silence, so he goes to another time to get it, and then it's just, it's just the same, but more in the future. Everything's more noisy, or more expensive, or more people, more crowded, and then becomes nostalgic for the time that he came from.
Yeah, when he goes back to 1890 and he sees, it was like, oh, everything's so cheap now. Oh, I can't believe they sell things for so cheap. Steak for, you know, 8 cents or whatever it is.
Right,
he's like,
right.
Yeah,
he comments. It's funny. Like, I did laugh when he first said, like, I don't know what he was looking at in the window of a store or something, and he said, I can't believe it's that much money for this item. And I think it might have even been like food or coffee or something. And all I could think about was the first episode of Where Is Everybody? And how we were commenting on the price of like a whole platter of breakfast food and coffee for like 25 cents or something.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Even to us, the 1962 prices, when he sees those and they look extortionate to him, to us they're still like dirt cheap. Like the prices he's talking about that he thinks are too expensive in 1890, to us are like, we can't even buy anything for that amount anymore. Like, what can you get for like 9 cents now? Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing can be bought for that amount. I think when I was growing up, the only thing you could get for like pennies was like 1 penny sweets. You get a bag of sweets, and each one would be a penny each. So that would be like
penny candy. We have that also in Canada, but I've heard, I don't know if it's true, but my father says all the time that like every year the Department of Treasury or whatever is trying to get rid of the penny. Like, nobody wants it. A lot of people just throw them away. Like they have pennies and they'll just toss them. Like, I don't want these, and they don't like save them or anything like that. They just get rid of them. So it's currency. They add up, but even when they add them up, they don't really add up to much to where you can buy anything anymore. So they're just kind of worthless.
Yeah, when I was younger, and for my entire childhood, we had something called a 99. And a 99 was basically an ice cream cone with a flake in it. A flake just being it's a Cadbury's chocolate thing, but it's very flaky and crumbles and just whatever. But an ice cream cone with that in it is a 99, and it always cost 99 pence. The funny thing is, though, is it's still called the 99, but it's been a long time since it cost 99 pence. Now it's like, no, it's maybe like 150 or something like that.
That's true. I did used to save up my pennies and whatever nickels I got or whatever to purchase the ice cream that would come from the ice cream man.
Yes, the ice cream
Which
van.
I think I could only get the cheapest thing was like 35 cents.
Yeah.
It was the red, white, and blue rocket one. It's the only one I could afford.
Oh yeah, I hated that one. It was so boring compared to everything
else. Yeah, it
else.
wasn't ice cream. It was a popsicle. But
yeah. Yeah, a little known fact about Scotland is that the ice cream van still comes around all year round, no matter how cold it is.
Yeah. I mean, I see them here, but they drive by so fast. Like, I don't know where they're going. They're just skipping through a lot of neighborhoods.
Well, I mean, it is worth mentioning. They sell like lots of regular candy and stuff, which is why I think they get away with existing all year round. People just want soda and candy, so they go and stock up when the van comes around.
I mean, they sort of have evolved. Like the ice cream trucks that you see here are like super shady looking, and they've, you know, the ones that people go to now are just food trucks. They're basically the same idea, but a restaurant instead of ice cream.
Yep. So once again, Twilight Zone has made his tangent into reminiscing and talking about how prices have changed.
I mean, this episode's kind of about reminiscing and
I mean, it is about nostalgia. That. I mean,
wanting another time.
Because the whole lesson of the episode is that he kind of befriends, and I use that word kind of loosely, a man who wants to steal his time hat and go back to 1890 because he likes the sound of no income tax and he likes the sound of being like a really smart scientist, because everyone by his standards will be primitive with science because it's 1890. But when he goes back at the end, it turns out that wait, there's no electrodes, there's no like, you know, little capacitor bits and pieces that I can build things out of. Like there's lots of simple things that don't exist yet.
Life is hard. Yeah.
There's no proper mattresses. Everything's horrible.
Bikinis.
There's no bikinis. Man, 1890, the porn sucks. Cause this, take me back to the future.
Yeah, I think you had to get those like porn booklets with just like pictures of drawn naked ladies on it.
Oh dear.
Yeah. Did you recognize his voice?
I did not. What was his voice?
He's the guy who sells the tribble to Uhura in the Trouble with Tribbles.
Ah, that does not surprise me.
Yeah.
That does not surprise me at all. But like I was saying though, he basically realizes that he wants to go back to his time, and likewise, you know, Buster Keaton's excited that everything's the price he now expects it to be. You know, it's basically just both good and bad. The world you know is better than this, you know, world you don't. You know, it's you know, I mean, it's not quite the evil you know, but in some ways it kind of is. Like all of a sudden, all the things that either ones used to have and they wanted to go back. So the joke ending is that he just puts the hat back on to the guy from the 60s and sends him back. Although I don't think
the silent film era.
Yeah, I don't think he paid that much attention to what he was turning the dial to, though. So the guy from 1962 might have ended back in 1962. He might have ended back
in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, if anything, if they had the budget, I would have done a joke ending where like we see where he goes and it's actually like 2062. It's like, whoa, flying cars or something stupid.
That'd be cool. Or just reuse the dinosaur footage from the plane episode.
Yeah.
And just stick him in there.
To be fair though, I don't think the dial, because you see it close up when he first gets used. There's not a big range of, because it's in decades. It goes from like 1800 maybe to like maybe to 2000. Like there's not a lot of range on it.
Yeah, I wonder. I mean, it's like 72 years in the difference, so maybe it wouldn't matter. But like, obviously, the advantage of going back in time is that you can play the stock market, right? Like,
sure.
That's the obvious thing to do. But he has no interest. He just wanted to be like a big scientist who made all these great discoveries and would be revered for how smart he was, but realized he didn't have any of the materials he needed to do his science. So abandoned it. But like, you're back in time. Like,
one of the things you'd have to do though is you have to make sure you take back something you can actually use as currency, because your modern money that's not been invented yet,
that's true,
wouldn't work in the past. So you'd have to either take back gold,
right? So he would have to invent something as a scientist,
yes,
and make money,
Or go to
take back gold.
or go to a collector and like get old currency, but that would actually cost a fortune to do that. It wouldn't be the inflation benefit you'd expect coming from the future,
right?
Because I think that's part of the charm, right? Is if assuming you could use your currency if you go back with like, oh, I don't know, say $100, and all of a sudden it's worth like 10 grand when you land. Like, oh, I'm like a king. Ah, I live like a king.
One house, please.
Yeah, I wonder what a house cost in 1890.
Yeah, I don't know. I think you just found a plot of land and said, "Here."
I love the idea of seeing like a sign in a house that says this house is $57. I have no idea if that's a reasonable estimate or if I'm just being silly with that. I have no idea what inflation was like.
Judging what like what a steak costs, maybe.
Yeah, this is possible. The actual humor of the episode is a lot of like Buster Keaton running around and chasing, and there's a kid who kind of like ends up with his helmet on a bike, so he grabs a bike and chases them. There's a policeman chasing him. They're stumbling into each other, falling down. What I did think was weird is that they go to like a repair shop to get the helmet fixed, and the guy just takes us, yeah, I can fix this, and I'm like, wait, what do you mean how you can fix it? How do you know what it is? How can you fix something without knowing what it's supposed to do?
Right.
Like I don't. I mean,
I like the scene where when Buster Keaton goes to modern day and he's in the repair shop and he sees the television and he thinks the guy on the TV is talking to him, and the way like he moves and it cuts looks like he is talking to him.
Yeah,
because he doesn't see the scene where like he's talking to an obvious female.
Yeah, whenever it cuts to the shot of the woman who's listening to the man talking, he's always got his back to the TV, so he always thinks the guy's talking to him.
Yeah. He doesn't know any better. He's never seen Train Drives That Screen.
No. And the other guy does no help. In the meantime, all the things being fixed, there's a little bit of slapstick with the policeman trying to get him for not wearing pants, and he's kind of trying to take pants from this shop that's got like a little rack outside, but the guy won't let him take them without paying for them, rightfully so. But there's a joke where he like takes some and he pays for them because there's money just in the pocket. So it's very slapsticky. It's very old school comedy with just like cartoon logic. Things are, which is fine. Like this is a complaint. I think it's just
I think it was written for him, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. But I think you either like the style this episode is, or it's like it's this nostalgic thing for a different time that you don't care about, and you're like, okay, it's neat that they're doing it, but
yeah, I don't know, it's fun. Like I sort of got vibes of The Artist, which won Best Picture, so enough people, I guess, were nostalgic for this time.
I do like The Artist a lot. Yes,
I like it too. And I thought it was pretty fun. I don't know. I watched a silent movie recently. So.
I wonder how they I wonder if they shot in the right frame rate for the silent stuff, because it is moving at that quicker speed, or if they just because I mean these days you would just fake it. You would just speed up footage probably, but because for anyone who doesn't know, the reason why silent footage always looks quick, it's not that it actually ran that quick originally. It was shot in 16 frames per second, and film is 24 frames per second. So because we display everything at 24 frames per second film-wise, it means we actually get a second and a half of footage of a silent film every second. So it's actually at 1.5 speed. That's why old silent movies are running at that speed, because it's just you're getting a second and a half every second. That was probably a boring bit of trivia, but I mean, there's not a lot of I don't know, science fiction-y fun stuff to like unwrap with this episode. So that's what you get. You get an explanation as to why silent films run at a different speed. You're welcome, everyone.
Yep, fun.
Like, clearly it's captivating because Tara it was beside herself. Didn't even know what to respond to that with. Is there any other jokes you would like to mention? Because it's basically a comedy episode.
Yeah, basically. Not really. Like I thought it was really well performed by Buster Keaton when he was in the silent era, and he was fine in the modern day one as well. It was just kind of fun. I don't know what to say. Like it did feel like a special episode because Twilight Zone doesn't really do this kind of shtick stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, but you wouldn't say it was a great episode, though, right? You wouldn't put this up there with the best episodes.
No, I mean, there's enough there, I guess, to call it a Twilight Zone episode, but it is more like a science fiction short film.
Sure.
With Buster Keaton in it.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's as good as like a great Twilight Zone episode. I think it's a fun gimmick, but that's all it really is.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that's about it, though.
All right, well, we'll move on then. Rod Serling, when he came out at the end, flat out basically said that the best twist I've ever had at the end of an episode is coming next week.
Yeah,
that's what he
I know
said.
this episode.
Yeah, I do not, so I better be wowed. Cool. I better be wowed, because I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe you'll remember. I think it's a famous one, so you might remember it as you watch it. Okay.
Well, it's called 5 Characters in Search of an Exit. The title does sound familiar. I think this is what a title that's talked about, so I think I've heard the title.
Yeah.
So here's the description on IMDb. An army major awakens in a small room with no idea of who he is or how he got there. He finds 4 other people in the same room, and they all begin to question how each of them arrived there, and more importantly, how to escape. This sounds very Cube-esque, dare I say.
I've never seen that.
Oh, really? Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of movies where characters wake up in a location with no idea how they got there, but Cube's kind of the first one that springs to mind for me. Actually, there was a line in this when the scientist inventor dude in 1962, like he's basically proven that the helmet was worked because he's got a newspaper that says, this date 1890 something, and he goes, "By George!" And it was a very Doc Brown reaction. Like, it wasn't quite Great Scott, but I was like, I wonder if because America strikes me as a Twilight Zone fan, so I wonder if this is actually a little bit of a inspiration in there.
Maybe.
It crossed my mind.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was so preoccupied with, like, where do I know this voice from? Like, it's so familiar. I'm like, I know he's Star Trek. Let me look it up.
I can hear it now you've said it, but
yeah.
So yeah, if I was to make a guess for this twist the next episode with these 5 characters, and going by the image, they're all very different looking characters. One's like a soldier, I think. One's like a clown. One's like a something. The boring twist would be they're all just like 5 different parts of one man's brain, like a psyche thing. But we'll see if that's the case next week. But that's just the first, just because of what Twilight Zone's done in the past. That's the first thing that my mind goes to. But I have no idea. So
it's wrong.
They have to tell me it was wrong. I would have found out next week.
I think you'll recognize it. Okay. You'll probably figure it out before the end.
Well, we'll find out, shan't we?
Yeah.
We'll find out. Unless Tara texts me halfway through the episode and says wrong. Even though I don't tell her what I'm thinking. She'll just know. You're wrong. Whatever you're thinking
I don't know
now,
when you watch the episodes.
Whatever you're thinking right now, Peter, is wrong.
You really hate that, don't you? Maybe there's a way you can interpret it as like there are 5 parts of a man's psyche.
No, I'm not mad that I was wrong. It was just weird the way you insisted on telling me I was wrong right there and then.
I think most people
for the record,
what the twist is.
For the record, I don't want to be right. I think that's the boring twist. I will pull Rod up. Well, his ghost. I'll pull Rod's ghost up and say, you said it was going to be the best twist you ever had. That's not the best twist you've ever had if that's the twist.
Well, yeah. Start your email now. Your strongly worded email to CBS.
Rod Serling never read an email.
Give this to the ghost of Rod Serling that did that one episode of the new Twilight Zone.
Quiet you. This has been our Twilight Zone discussion. Let us know what you think of the episode in the comments if you have seen it. Like, subscribe, all that stuff. You can't support us financially though, can you, Tara?
Yeah. If you enjoy our reviews, please check out our Patreon page. It's patreon.com/MildFuzzTV. And if you donate as little as $1 per month, you will get access to bonus episodes of other shows we do, including The Ace, the Atomic Cinema Experiment, which is our science fiction movie review show. So if you like Twilight Zone, maybe you'll enjoy that. And if you donate $5 per month, you will get access to these episodes of Twilight Zone 1 week early. So head on over and check that out. Thank you.
Cool. So there you go. Also catch us on Twitter at mailed_fuzz for channel updates. But otherwise, that is us. So thank you once again for watching or listening. We always appreciate it. Keep watching TV. in the Twilight Zone.